Hey guys, Michael here. It's the day after Record Store Day. Everybody else is showing what they got and talking about their experience, so I thought I'd do the same. Um, I There's only one store in my town that participates in Record Store Day, and that's a franchise called Vintage Stock, who primarily deal with video games. Uh, Comics, all that kind of stuff. But they do sell records. They're not. It's not a great store for buying used vinyl. They don't clean or grade. They just kind of charge whatever they want, and the way they charge seems sort of random. Weird. But I had been in there a few days before, well, the day before Record Store Day, and I'd picked up 12 records, got a great price on those, went back, didn't do as well this time, but I did buy 6 more records, and I bought 4 things that are Record Store Day specials. Here's the first one I'll show you. Nice. Nice to have. This is number 2,425 out of, I believe I read 3,000 that were issued. And, that doesn't mean that they're not going to put them out. I think that limited edition is only referring to the fact that they only made 3 in this pretty blue color. But I bet you anything they're going to be running around in black vinyl pretty soon, too. The original pressing of this, which River said he had seen really cheap, and then because he mentioned that he had 2, and I was like, I think I hate you. But I'm looking and I'm seeing them like crazy high right now for the OGs. Rivers said that he suspects that it'll go down in price. I hope so. It would be cool to have an OG of this, but then again, really, the singles that Johnny Cash had put out and the singles that, those would be the awesome things to have, and they're probably crazy money. I don't know. I don't really collect singles that much. Then I picked this up. I don't remember what I paid for it, but it wasn't a lot. It's number 1,592. It's a limited edition, but I'm not sure how big an edition it is. It does have a crimp on the corner, but it was the only one on the table, and they might have had one more because this is something that would go pretty quick even in Pica. It's 200 gram vinyl. I've played it and I love it. This is the first time I've ever bought a reissue of a Jimi Hendrix album, and all my other albums are prehumus and are first pressings. But I don't have Electric Ladyland, and I have to say they've got the reissue of that in there, and it's very, very tempting. Simply because I'm kind of starting to lose hope that I'm ever going to find it. But nice record, plays beautiful, and I'm happy with that. I really do want the OG on that. And then I picked up Tame Impala live versions. I haven't read the little inserty thing. Well, it's not. It's just printed on the inner sleeve. Now, I read on Discogs that this came with a download code. I didn't notice a download code when I brought it home. There's certainly not one in here anywhere. So I don't know. Maybe they just didn't put one in mine, or maybe it fell out and I didn't notice, and it's laying somewhere in my cushions on here or something. Pretty green vinyl. Here again, people are flipping it for crazy, and I think that's crazy. But I do like Tame Impala, and I thought this might be really nice. I do have Lonerism, the box set of that, but I don't have the first album or the Inner Speaker. And Inner Speaker, I do on digitally. I just don't have them on vinyl. Inner Speaker, I think, is better than Lonerism, by the way. Although it's in a way more retro than Lennerism. I just think it's such a great album, and it's got such a good riffing groove to it. And yeah, I did go ahead and pick it up. This is one of my all-time favorite bands. How could I not buy the new Pixie album, Indy Cindy? I've heard a lot of people bitch about how awful it is, how weak it is, blah, 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 blah. Oh, kiss mine. Honestly, I've listened to it. I think it's really good. There are some songs that really do have kind of a classic Pixie sound, kind of. Those I noticed in one essay that some guy was talking about, you know, this is 180 gram vinyl, 45 RPM. You know, and he would single out some of those as being good and the rest of it being mediocre. I don't know. I'm sick of hearing people rap their bullshit. Honestly, I'm getting to the point where I'm just tired of listening to critics. Mainly because most of the time they're not even talking about the music anymore. Yeah, they didn't like something that was said on Indy Cindy. They thought it was sexist, and I'm like, well, obviously you haven't listened very long to I've Been Tired. Anyway, it comes with the single as well. I think it's a good album. It may not be the best Pixies album. And a lot of people, everybody has their own opinion, and my opinion as to which Pixie album is my favorite varies from day to day. Sometimes it's Come On Pilgrim, sometimes it's Surfer Rosa, sometimes it's Doolittle, sometimes it's Bossa Nova, sometimes it's Trompe Le Monde. Trompe Le Monde I do not have on vinyl yet. I've got to have first pressing of that on vinyl. The problem is the only ones I ever see for sale online seem to be from Europe or England, and I don't want to pay the shipping. It's so expensive. So what else did I pick up? I picked up this. This is a German pressing. For what it is, I think I paid more than I should have. And that does seem to be a chronic problem with this. Like I said, these people, they don't really always pay that much attention. It's in pretty good shape. I'd say the vinyl is really is pretty close to a near mint. The sleeve looks really good for the most part. Little corner bumps here and there, except for right there. It's got something kind of nicking. It's not from the inside. It's where something has happened to it. But really happy to add that to my John Lennon collection. I love John Lennon. I think he's a really good songwriter, interesting and unusual chord progressions. And I think sometimes people sort of emphasize the content of Lennon, how serious he was, how political, and all of that kind of stuff, and the lyrics over the music. And then they talk about, when they talk about the music, they always think of McCartney, of the two, the Lennon-McCartney songwriting duo. I think that's a little unfair. I think both of them, they're very different, but and that was what made them such a great duo when they were writing together. But I love Lennon. I also love McCartney. And I'm over which is my favorite Beatle. I never could decide anyway. I just fantasized about all of them, except Ringo. Ringo's not my favorite Beatle. I don't have any Ringo albums, and I probably never will. Picked up this. This is an upgrade. I already had a copy of this, but it wasn't in great condition, and it was on that retro rainbow capital letter. This is the correct label for a first issue of this. That's what the label was like. And unfortunately, it is missing the poster, which is a sad thing. And I believe this, of course, didn't come with the calendar. I don't think it ever did in Germany. In the U.S. and I think in the U.K. were the only places that came with the calendar. But I'm sorry that it doesn't have the poster. And then I picked this up, and I am not sure why. There again, it's a first press, most likely. Looks to be the label. There was something about this label. What was it? It's got the Rockefeller Plaza address. It doesn't have the little extra bit after it. Some of them have kind of a Warner Brothers, I think it is, logo and something. That's not on this. It's just not a great Rolling Stone album, though. It just isn't. It's the worst Rolling Stone album I've got. I love the Stones when they are at their best, and I don't love them when they're not. But I have it. I'm not going to look for a better copy. This is pretty close to near mint, so I'm good with that. Vanilla Fudge, near the beginning. This wasn't too expensive, and I'm glad it wasn't, because I'd actually passed it by a couple days before, or the day before Record Store Day, last Friday. It is a first press, and I showed you guys the Quicksilver Messenger service, Happy Trails, and mentioned that it had a fair amount of surface noise. This thing is like Rice Krispies, and I'm going to have to try to see what I can do to clean it up. The record itself doesn't look that bad, but boy, almost unlistenable. If I had a really good stereo, I doubt if I'd even be able to play it. I'd just be covering my ears. Then I got these, and Rick Sings Nelson. Cool 1970 Rick Nelson with the Stone Canyon Band. And it's pretty good. It's a weird packaging. Number one, it's a gatefold, but it's kind of backwards. Usually the empty part would be on the front, which is why when I first picked it up, I thought it was a double LP. I didn't even notice that the back didn't have an album in it. But as soon as I saw an album in the front, I thought, well, it's not. It's a single LP. It's good, not great. I'll play it again sometime when I want some music playing that's kind of country-ish and kind of pop-ish and kind of California, but not real demanding or stellar. And I picked this up, and this is also a 1970 press. And unfortunately, it came originally apparently with a huge Ricky Nelson poster. I wish I had that poster, and I've not seen the poster, but I would hope. No, yeah, Endless Summer came with the poster, and then this. And I really would hope that this would be the artwork for the poster. One of these. Very Warhol looking, aren't they? Fake Warhol looking. I mean, I don't think I would think, oh my God, that's a Warhol print. But obviously, Warhol's style influenced it a great deal. And this is in beautiful, beautiful shape, though. Beyond that, the records are near mint. The sleeve is the strongest VG Plus that you can get, and not be able to say it's near mint. I'm going to say that it's got this booklet inside. It's honestly one of the worst essays I've ever read, and very condescending about him. Basically saying, well, he really wasn't all that great, but he was great, it's just like bullshit. It does have, however, on the back, a list of all of his Imperial albums and singles and all of his Decca albums and singles up to 1970. I'm not sure how many albums come after that. I remember Garden Party, and I remember his death shortly after Garden Party came out. I'm not going to be looking for more Rick Nelson. If I find it for $2, I'll grab it, but otherwise, no. these albums, the Imperial albums, and maybe even the early Decca albums. Yeah, the early Decca albums too. The Ricky Nelson stuff, I think is kind of cool. And collectible. What would be cool would be to have all of them, because every one of them has a portrait of him on the cover, or almost every one of them. You could make like a whole wall display of just, you know, Ricky Nelson, the beautiful, beautiful Ricky Nelson, and he really was. He was awful darn talented, although maybe not, you know, total A-list, but by God, you know, his face sure was A-list. That's all I got. Excuse me. It was a nice day, and today is a beautiful day too. I think I need to get outside and just be outside for a while. It's such a beautiful, beautiful day. And I have a tendency to sit around in here listening to records way too much. Yeah, I got some gardening to think about too. Anyway, that's it. Fantastic record store day. I don't feel a huge obligation to attend on that day, for the simple reason that I go to record stores and support independent record stores all the time. So why should I feel that I have to go out and observe RSD as though it were a holy day? But, you know, it's fun when I can get there, and it was fun. I think next year I'm going to drive to Lawrence and visit Love Gardens for Record Store Day. I'm sure they have a much larger selection, and if I had more money, I'd probably try to get over there today and see what they've got left. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.